8 p.m. here in the Philippines on Monday, the 8th of September, Christmas month, the first month of Christmas here celebrated in the Philippines. Well, guys, I've got some good news and some annoying news for some people, such as my dear friend Ian. He doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Many of you don't, of course. But I resurrected an old channel that I had, I suppose, just sitting there doing nothing. It wasn't a channel as such, it was just a YouTube account. And I thought that since being away from New Guinea, one of the things that bothered me most is the fact that in many ways I've lost my power. I lost my power in the sense that it's always hard to get your Filipino to take you seriously sometimes. But what happened was that I kept losing my channel, which was, when I say losing it, I lost control of it in the sense that I knew it was monetized, and my stepdaughter Jera was benefiting from it each month from the advertising revenue. But when she finally graduated, there didn't seem any immediate need to continue uploading videos to that channel. So what I decided to do was to push my energy into Grumpy Brit in the Philippines. And one day I suddenly realized that it was an opportunity for me to, hello, Seep, how are you? Haven't seen you for a long while. Good to see you, Sep. And I decided to rename Grumpy Brit in the Philippines a British Expat in the Philippines, which is now what I would call my main channel. And I'm glad I did that, because when you go and put in British Expat in the Philippines, up comes a Filipino Life, which is the old channel with all of the videos, well, all that were allowed on there for everybody to see. Hello, Gigi. How are you? Welcome. So there was a bit of confusion, even for myself, just to keep trying to work out which channel I was looking at. So what I've done is I've resurrected, just this evening, I put two videos. One, a video which was filmed by my son, who's running a farm in New Zealand, a family farm, and it's good. Oh yes, you are. Yes, Sep, I see that. Yes, it is good to see you back. So this is a British expat in the Philippines, whilst the other one remains, I suppose we will say, in limbo. There's always a chance that common sense will allow eventually for me to take that channel back. But what I did do is I had a good friend in Europe who's able to copy every single video that I put on the original British Expat in the Philippines. And thank you, DG. Thank you very much. So what I did is I moved a couple of videos, so I took them down on the original channel, which is now a Filipino Life. Not to confuse you all, still there, still operating. All three channels are now operating, except that you'll find me on the original names. That is, you'll find me on a Grumpy Brit in the Philippines, and you'll also find me on British Expat in the Philippines. That's myself. Look for my beautiful image and you'll certainly see my videos done each day, or certainly virtually every day. And I will continue doing it on both channels. Now, Ian, of course, doesn't understand why I should want two channels. Well, two channels gives me the freedom also to put a more targeted video on, as opposed to that of the videos that I used to put just on British Expat. Now, if you want to find, I think it's not too hard to find it. If you do it in capital letters and you put, you don't collaborate with the Expat channel. No, I don't. But of course, you're watching this on a British Expat in the Philippines, which was Grumpy Brit in the Philippines. Now, that's really good because you come here and it's getting 2,180 something subscribers. So come on, let's get that back up again. It's not monetized, but I believe that you, the viewer, gets to watch the videos with some ads. I'm sorry about that. But the channel I started up this evening has got two videos, one short and one video. The video is in New Zealand. It's a particularly beautiful scenery one, and I like the music, so I left it on there. Did get a copyright, but won't affect the channel because the owner of the copyright music is happy to share it. Now, the other one is a, what do they call it? A short that I did this morning on this camera. I transferred it to the other channel on the other camera, and it's done on a very moist early morning shot, and it's to my favorite piece of music, Gaga. And Ian hates it, but never mind, it gets attention, and I think we have about 130 views at the moment, which is pretty amazing for a channel that's only been up for a few minutes. Hello Myra, how are you? Good to see you. And Billy Boeing, how are you? Good. God, you're burning. I am? I'm burning, maybe. That's what you're saying. Anyway, so you will find me on those. And the reason for that is so that I'm new. Hello, Magdalena Miko. Hello, how are you? An addition at Titanic and Brittonic. WW. God bless. DG. Which part of England do you come from? Come from Berkshire, a little place called Sonning-on-Thames. If you have a look at Sonning-on-Thames and look at Sonning Lock, that's exactly where I came from. And I went to a local school called the Reading Bluecoat School. Hence my accent is more south of England as opposed to my brother who was brought up in England. Lloyd Malikner. Hi, I'm a Filipino. Wow, that's good. You're a Filipino. That's really good to see, Lloyd. Magandan Gabi. Well, no, it's not Gabi, it's evening. I'm not sure what you say for evening, but I know Magandan Gabi is afternoon. Magandan Umaga is morning. Anyway, welcome, Po. Sorry, I got to go. That's all right. It's good to see you here. Great to see you here, in fact. Goodbye, Gramps. Goodbye. I don't mind being called Gramps. I'm 77 years old, and I'm definitely a grandfather, many times over. So thank you again for popping in and saying hi. It's maybe fairly late for you at 8:10 here at night. So from wherever you are, I'm sure you're either on your way. Are in Las Vegas, right, at one of the gambling places I've been, and you have subbed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to it. Alvin is absent. Alvin is absent. Alvin is over here in the Philippines. And no doubt, he's been made aware that I'm here, but he might be either with a chosen Filipino, or maybe he's busy working on the process. Are you in Las Vegas? I'm not. No, I'm in the Philippines. I'm in a district called, a a province called Bulacan. And originally I was 10 years in a place called La Union, which is the northern part of Luzon Island. I mean, on your live right now, maybe he's going to be late. Yes, he could be, D. But he does tend to pop up every so often. I need to change. Bye. That's all right. Oh, you need to charge. Okay. Plug it in. But anyway, thank you, Lloyd, for joining us. That's really good of you. Now, the other thing that I did this morning, I did a repeat of, not a repeat, more a follow-up on a topic of making friends, you're in Bulacan right now, John. Yes, I thought you're living in La Union. Well, I am, in the sense that I built a home in La Union, but I'm not currently there. I'm here in Bulacan. It's much closer for me to have sorted out all my visa problems, which if you've been watching, you're just a kid. That's okay, Lloyd. As long as you're over 18, there's no problem. So that's the reason that I'm here. In essence, that's why I initially found myself here, because it was a much easier way to sort out my visa with the head office here in Manila, which is about an hour and a half, maybe, by bus and local trains to the local BI office. So that's the reason I'm here, or should I say that's my current reason why I'm here, but it's not necessarily why I'm here. But now it's just a case of putting things together, getting myself recharged up, I should say, because for a long, long time I've allowed other people to, why I love Grandpa. That's why I love Grandpa. Okay, that's okay, no problem. Hello, Aaron, how are you? Greetings, John, from over here in China. Hello in China. I was actually looking at a airline flight all the way back. No, it's not that bad, D. Traveling from Bulacan, I use the Skyway and the NX. It's pretty straightforward driving, especially when you leave around 5 in the morning. You're there around 6:30 and you can get yourself organized, have breakfast, and you're all ready for things, and you can be back home here by about 11. So it's not too bad. Now I'm back. Right. Okay, Lloyd. That was a quick charge. Yeah, so what I've done is, now I can't even pronounce that, Magdalena. Nueva Equila, something like that. Anyway, I know it's here in the Philippines anyway, so I'm almost there anyway. But part of being here has taught me also that I need to take ownership of things that for a long time I've allowed to other people to take over the role of my role in the whole picture of everything. You know, it's good enough to have a pension, it's good enough to have savings, but it's not good when you tend to feel under pressure to help everybody out, and we can't help everyone out all the time. Aaron, looking to head for vacation during Chinese New Year to Cavite, where our place is. Well, that's a nice part of town. And I'm sure, hopefully, it's not been flooded too much, because as you well probably know, Cavite and a lot of those areas like Quezon is having major problems with floods because of the, as they call it, ghost projects, which now this evening I see they've named, I think, 10 or maybe 12 particular individuals, we'll call them high-profile individuals who, of course, are putting out major denials that they're involved in any shenanigans. But it's a bit like watching a soap opera unfold, even though you might not generally know what they're talking about. You've got a general drift that it's called running for cover, trying to deflect the attention upon their families, which inevitably there will be. But where there's smoke, there's fire, and I would imagine any of these so-called individuals have been very careful to hide away anything that may be a little stinky, so to speak, in the corruption area of graft, because they take it quite seriously here, most administrations. So it's interesting to see what happens. What I'm interested is to see what's going to happen with the so-called projects that were for flood relief, how they're going to actually fix them. Are they going to fix them, or are they going to have to start them all from scratch and double up on all the money? Because there always is a tendency here in the Philippines and in Asia where on occasion it's been heard that there's a sort of a kickback on every job. And by the time it gets underway, what's left to build the project is not very much. And clearly that's where the problem lies, because the quality of the work and the amount of work that is able to be achieved with that amount of money often ends up with the contractor who's a subcontractor to another subcontractor who's subcontracting to another one. There's not enough money in there to do it. Hi Norman, can please give a birthday shout out to my brother Nick Gurr. Well, Essex lad, Essex, I can't put on an Essex accent, but Nick Gurr, happy birthday from Essex lad. Yes, well, it's always good when you have a birthday. My son's got a birthday on the 24th of this month too, so I'll have to be shouting out to him too. Yes, there's smoke, and there's certainly, what was that last comment? There's smoke, and there's certainly is fire, Norman, that's for sure. But it makes interesting TV, and of course we can always find a channel that will tell us what's going on in English. It's really annoying, really, because English is spoken here quite a lot, and it's in legal documents. It's such a pity that GM, the national television company, doesn't actually have subtitles in English underneath, because it would have a double effect, because it will tell people they can hear what they're being said in Tagalog, and also they then also be able to listen to what's being said in English as well. You can take the motto, Go Bulacan, yes, and reverse it. In Tagalog, it means submerge. I'm not even joking, true fact. Well, that sounds really good, because, yes, Bulacan, John, Peter, it's actually been, oh my goodness, it's a headache. It's a headache, that's for sure. And I really feel sorry for the people that have, can I see your bathroom and bedroom? Well, you could, but unfortunately, if you saw my bathroom and my bedroom, it would mean I'd have to turn the light on. And that's maybe not a good idea, because there's an old lady in that bedroom. And the bathroom is able to be seen. It's out in the hallway. Laugh out, John Peters, haha. Go Bulacan, haha. Yes, okay. But, Lloyd, you should know, not always a good thing to ask people to show you their bedroom. I don't want to show you my mattress on the floor, or my bathroom with a bucket and a scoop. Or maybe you're thinking maybe I had a bed. Maybe you think I have a mattress on a bed. Or maybe you thought I turn a tap on and hot water comes from above. Well, either one of those could be true. Could be true, because when I first came here to stay here, it was cold water showers for me, and I used to have to ask if they could boil a kettle so I could add some hot water into the bucket. So, did we really win World War II? Well, when you say we, with that flag there, Joseph, it might suggest maybe you're not American, but who knows? But if you're American, of course, you have a grandchild. Yes, I have many grandchildren, Lloyd. And Joseph, Europeans, did the Europeans win World War II? Well, if we're to believe some of the history that's now circulating, including the current President of the United States, who's convincing everybody that they won the Second World War, they alone. Now, history tells me that America made a lot of money out of what is called Lend-Lease. What that means is we'll give you the things you need to fight the war, but you have to pay us back, and pay us back handsomely. So they screwed the Europeans in terms of the arms and ammunition. Hence, there's a few very, very wealthy American families that did very well out of the war. And the other thing, of course, is that no, they didn't win it on their own. We as Europeans stood up against the might of Hitler, or should I say the might of the Third Reich. England, to a degree, the resistance in France, whereas the majority were not part of the resistance. And then you have the Spanish, who decided that they would support the Germans to a degree. And then, of course, you have the confused Italians who swapped between Mussolini and the opposite, you know. So it was a bit of looking over your shoulder went on there. There were a number of neutral countries, which made things a little bit odd that people could run into Switzerland, and both Germans and English and Americans all had a great time during the war in Switzerland. And yet they were rubbing shoulders to all the generals and everybody else, and then they go back out to their own prospective countries and carry on with the war. So I suppose really, when you think about it, the ones that didn't do very well would be anybody who happened to be disabled, intellectually handicapped, or maybe Jewish, because the Germans did their level best to annihilate them from the face of the earth. Many will say that's not true. Well, I've been to Auschwitz and to some of the other concentration camps, and if you are an honest man or woman, a visit there would certainly shake your nerves, you know, to think that such horrors took on such a dreadful situation over there. But history has a habit of not remembering these things properly. We only have to look to Gaza and think of the situation there. But again, you can't expect everything to be perfect. And there's reasons politically and historically for what's going on in the Middle East currently everywhere. So we'll get off of that. I've managed to get that way. Little hazy. Stop the boats. Yes, going into England, that's for sure. I see we now have a second-born Pakistani lady in charge of the Home Office. That'll be interesting. England's in a right old mess at the moment, and I just don't know why the politicians are playing into the hands of the major disruption causes in England and anywhere in the world. This amount of immigration that's being permitted to happen around the world. There are some countries that are looking at removing those people that have been there for now many decades. Good luck to them, but clearly getting them out of the hotels in England and places like that is, history is written by the victors. It sure is. It's about to get interesting, buddy. It sure is. And yeah. So anyway, back to me. Back to me. And for me, the last few months have been pretty horrendous, to say the least. Never knowing whether or not my extended stay here in the Philippines, which was over the top of my permitted time, would be accepted. And fortunately it was. I did my visa run a couple of weeks ago to Thailand. Some of you might have seen the videos. And fortunately I'm all now legal, and I intend to stay that way. It's a much better way because it actually, I can adopt the feelings of some of you out there who adore living here in the Philippines, enjoy the lifestyle, what it has to offer. And when you are legal, it does make a difference. And it gives me options where I can put my energies towards maybe doing a bit more traveling overseas from the Philippines. It gives you that little boost of energy that I think we all need. After all, when we're stuck in one place, be it England, Australia, New Zealand, America, we tend to get our feet too comfortably under the table, and it's good to get the air brushing through your hair, even if it does need a haircut. My fiancée is in Bulacan. Well, there you are, Meto. That's great to hear that she's in Bulacan. I hope that it's just too hot in the Philippines. No, it's not hot here. My goodness, I've been here 10 years. Hot would be an overstatement. You just get used to, your body does get used to it. You get used to having a fan on, you get used to getting up earlier in the morning and enjoying an early morning walk when it's not so hot. You come home and have a nice shower, have some breakfast and sit down for the day, and then work out what you're going to do. A lot of Filipinos also spend a lot of time going from one place to another through the use of knowing where places have got aircon or where there's good series of fans. Of course, if you're going to walk down the street without an umbrella in the hot sun, you're going to get hot. But if you're not used to hot weather, then that's there. I like underfloor heating engineer. I was an underfloor heating engineer in UK. I want to move out there, but my skills aren't transferable. Well, Meto, unless you're a young person, then of course that's probably true. But you won't be able to work here. That's the problem. The type of work that anybody, if that's a foreigner, can get here is very limited. It's mainly investment in the sense that maybe you can build some apartment houses with your partner owning the land and you building the structure. But again, you have to have hands-on experience because you have to get the rent each month. They're pretty good at saying, well, I haven't got it this month, and what can you do? Kick them out? You can't do that here, not easily. There's not really any particular kind of business. Don't ever believe that a sari store is going to be your answer. Even a piggery is not necessarily the answer for a regular income. It's one of the answers for sure, but you can get work here, but it is in a specialized field. Now, I wouldn't think that underfloor heating was one of them. What I would say is maybe owning or being in partnership with your partner, maybe with you engineering experience and electrical, obviously, maybe the idea would be to get into air conditioning. maybe to have a team of guys that would go around maintaining and installing air conditioners. But what you have to remember is that what we consider a good amount of money to earn per day is nothing like what they earn here. And when you're paying maybe a qualified guy, maybe 400 to, well, maybe not 400, maybe 600 pesos plus per day. Now, it seems such a small amount, but then you've got to remember how much they charge, or the supplier of the aircon unit charges between the purchase price of the unit and the free installation that they charge. In other words, they've got to pay someone to install it for a very minimal amount. But the money seems to be in the cleaning of aircons. A number of guys I've spoken to who come even here, an average LG split system, it costs between 12 and 1,500 pesos per unit to be cleaned. And in many cases, they're cleaned every 6 months because of the amount of dust that's in the area and the little drain that gets blocked along with the filters needing to be changed. So it's an area to look at, but again, you won't own the whole business. So as long as you've got a really reliable partner, she can own the majority of the shareholding in the company. And after all, it also provides her, when you're gone, if you're not as young as myself, 77, but it will provide her with an ongoing management position and business owner in the future when you're gone, which is a good way of providing them with a legacy that they would surely appreciate. London walks. What's it like living in Asia? Well, London walks. What's it like living in Asia? Well, firstly, it's nothing like living in London, that's for sure. It's nothing like anywhere you've seen in Europe. It's nothing like anywhere you've seen in the Middle East either. It's more like the back of beyond. I likened it when I first came here as to what the hell have I done? I've arrived in a place that might as well be somewhere like Peru, or not even Tibet, because that's cold. Peru, well, that's cold too, but Peru in the sense of the backwardness of the place. The biggest thing that I found to get my head round initially, and I didn't let it dwell on me, and that is the poverty. It's very hard to have a pocket full of money and not want to help anybody that you see needs help. And I can assure you there's some very well-trained people who will try and extract money from you. But as far as living here, my best way to describe it is it's like the lifestyle that you can achieve. It's like living in the days of the early, middle to late 1950s in England with the Darling Buds of May kind of series. And that sort of laid back, everybody knew everybody, right up to the local MP, to the village priest or vicar. And everybody talked to the local police, the bobby. Here it's like that too, it doesn't take long. A few weeks of walking up and down the streets, having your early morning walk, and you'll get to know the faces that come out every day and they'll say, "Good morning, morning Joe," everybody's Joe here. And you turn everything into a joke and say, "Hello Mary, hello Jane, hello Barbara," whatever name comes to your mind. And then they look at you rather strangely. You say, "Well, I'm not American, I'm English, or I'm Australian." So they usually have a laugh about that. And then they ask you what your name is. So you tell them John or Norman. Do you meet and greet with your viewers, John? Well, yes, DG, I did, and I do. Many of those who have been in contact with me either by email or literally by talking online on either the Facebook or Messenger have. And in fact, one of my dear friends has just recently gone back to Europe. He'll be back shortly, no doubt. He's looking for a wife, and he came and spent 3.5 days here. It was really quite a refreshing time to have somebody with such an insight to life. He's a real computer geek, I'll call him, but he's really heavily involved in computer security and that, and it was interesting to understand. And he was very helpful because he downloaded all of my past library of the British expat in the Philippines. So I've got a complete downloaded copies of all of the videos, and they're all fully operational, so that's really good. And slowly but surely I'm going to weave them into both the channels so that they're able to be watched in the meantime while I don't have access to the original channel. I'll probably alter them on the front and back just to make sure that I don't get into any problems with copyright, even though it's only me on them in most cases. How send you an email, John? How do you send one? Well, that's a point. I'll put it in the description at the bottom of this video when I finish the video. But it's the best one is Norman, it's all lowercase, Norman with a dot, Childs, like in children with an S, Childs, at hotmail.com. And if you want that again, I'll say it slowly, Norman.Childs at hotmail.com. And if you do, send us an email and I'll definitely answer you. And if they're able to communicate by either local phone here or Skype or what, no, they're not using Skype anymore, I'm just trying to think. Teams, I think I'm going to be using. And we can have a chat, a yarn together, no problem. There we are. Thank you, Ian. Ian has just put up my email address, and that's how you can get to find out what's going on, Dee. And Dee, thanks, Ian, for doing that. So do I. And yes, so for me, I've now got ownership back of my two channels in the sense that I can use the two names, and I will separate them in the sense, but I won't be doing what Ian suggested I shouldn't do. I suppose I won't be. I hope not, but there may be occasions when I do it. And that's what I used to call simulcast. It's enabled both of you, both channels, to watch at the same time, because not everybody who's subscribed to one channel is subscribed to the other one as well. So now and again I might still do what Ian hates me doing, and I love to wind him up. Again, one of my dear friends who I have met, and he's been here many times. And it's always good to catch up with people after this live. I'm near Manila. Which, are you north of Manila, south of Manila, Tagaytay, down that way, or are you left and right of it? Oh, well, if you went too much to the right, you'd end up in the Subic Bay or somewhere like that. But there's plenty of places to the left. So what's the average cost of building apartments in the Philippines? Well, Meto, that's a very interesting point, because first of all, you have to find the right piece of land. No, sorry, let's start that again. If you're going to build apartments, think about it. It's a bit like a business plan. Apartments will always be able to be rented out if they're in the right location. They need to be near colleges. And when I say colleges, I'm not meaning necessarily schools. More like a university, probably some of the bigger name universities. If you can't buy the land, it's always a good idea maybe to get a 25-year lease on the land with the right of another 25 years. Then it means that what you're building on there has got some sort of long-term guarantees that will do it. Maybe to build into it the right to purchase the piece of land maybe later on. Condensed reality, old white guys in the Philippines is sus, AFJS, whatever that means, okay? And Aidan, he meant how much monthly to rent, my friend. Right, how much to rent an apartment. Again, that's an unknown, really. I don't think anybody can truly say it. I mean, you can rent some apartments for 5,000 a month. Some you can rent for 10. Some you can rent for 20. And we're talking pesos, 20,000 pesos. But I would have said on average that you should be able to find something within the 10 to 12,000 peso a month in a reasonably quiet neighborhood. In other words, one that's not in the middle of some deadbeat area. No, I thought he was right. He meant how much to build, yes. To build, now, I do know somebody, somebody who was a friend who's no longer a friend now. He built 4 home units for 4 family members of his girlfriend. And I do believe he spent about 5 million pesos building it. Don't hold me to that. That included the land. And I believe the land would have been around about 1 million. So he probably paid maybe 1 million each little unit, which isn't bad, really. You know, as far as return for your money, you certainly can't look at a return under at least 10 to 15 years in terms of just getting your money back. That's providing that you can rent them and keep them rented. But that's the reason why I said. Now I'll give you an example. There's a university in La Union, which is called St. Louis University. They're up also in Baguio City. If you can be relatively close to one of those, you usually got a year-round occupancy for your home unit or your flat. And often the flats really only have to reflect somewhere to sleep, somewhere to maybe have a sink and able to cook with a little microwave or a little burner, and maybe in one little corner an ideal situation would be to have a small toilet and shower room in one. So the rest of the area became really, I suppose, the TV room, lounge and dining. Doesn't have to be very big, and after all, when you consider the size of a condo, they're not very big either. Because then that, for a young student, it's perfect, especially if you can maybe get 2 or 3 in at a time. Because there's always families that want to get their children into safe accommodation. It can be just for women, or it can be just for men, or I think having men and women together is maybe not the best option, but a lot of them are for young female students from out of town, and the parents are prepared to pay for the slot, so to speak, year-round. So, yeah. Metro, and I'm 44. Well, you're only a young boy, Aidan. Metro, I mean. And Aidan says, was just trying to help, mate. No need to tell me your age. Like that matters. 80-year-olds rent. Bad attitude, my friend. Ooh. Come on, guys, let's fight. I want to know why in Baguio is it so cold in the Philippines, but the others don't. Right, well, it's called geography. The mountain range in which Baguio is a part of runs down we'll call it the backbone of Luzon Island. And therefore, when you're up high, and they are up very high, I'm trying to think of not much higher than where Baguio is. This time of the year, in the morning, sometimes it's as low as 10 degrees, and later on in the day, it gets up to maybe 16. But if the sun comes out, it can be 22 to 24, which is still quite pleasant. But don't believe it for every day, because some days it can be 32. It depends on how hot that little godson shines down on them. But it is also known for all in and around that area for the terraces, the rice growing terraces. It's also known for growing major supplies of vegetables and fruit. In fact, with the recent storms that came through, they devastated the strawberry farms, which are well known for supplying strawberries to the Philippines up there in Baguio. But that's the reason, they're up high. And there are days when you can see people quite clearly with jackets on to keep warm. And there have been times when I've gone up in an aircon bus, which can be a bit cold anyway, and to step out, it's colder outside than it was in the aircon. But it's somewhat refreshing when you're, 40 k's away down the hill in Nagilin, and it's maybe a balmy 30 degrees or 32. And to go up there and have a pleasant day at 24 is a real enjoyable event. So that's the story about there in Baguio. UK, okay. That's the thing, if I move there, I need an income and I'll have to sell my business in the UK. My fiancée doesn't want to leave the Philippines and she wants me to go there. Yes, that's a lot of them do say that, and then when you take them overseas to places like Singapore, Hong Kong and Thailand, they have a different opinion because remember, for them it's not easy for them to leave this country. And of course also they're probably a little bit dubious about leaving their country thinking, will I ever be able to come back? You're only 44, so I would be more inclined to be looking at, I myself will be looking at maybe bringing her or finding somebody who is willing to join you in the UK or wherever you are, because that often is a very good start to a long-term relationship because they too can contribute to the household budget that's in your end, and they also get a chance to become a little bit more westernized in outlook. And they still will obviously enjoy coming back to the Philippines for holidays, and if you go back with them, you'll get a flavor and a taste of what life could be like if you would eventually retire there. She's pregnant, so it looks like she's coming here. She's pregnant, so it looks like she's coming here. Is that a sarcastic joke there, Meto? Maybe it is, meaning she's pregnant, so how could she get there? Yeah. Have you met regular guy? No, I haven't. Lou. I've had comments from somebody who calls himself regular guy, and I believe that he is the person. So he's obviously watched my channel on occasion. You know, since I've had these channels, it's amazing how many have gone their separate ways and left. I mean, look at Gio. I didn't think he was going to last very long here. Now he's Gio on the go or something, and he's going to be running around the other haunts in Southeast Asia. Guarantee he'll probably end up back in the US in the end. A lot of these guys come out here with dreams of making it go, and in the end they fail miserably. They just got, I don't know, and I'm not picking on you guys if you're American watching. A lot of you guys just want to have America here, and it really doesn't work. I know that you like to go to your bars and you like to mix with other fellow Navy SEALs and Special Ops and join all your Purple Heart guys, but really they're not here. They just say they are. And the reality is that once they've stopped telling their little lies about what they've done in life and the reality of it all settles in, you'll find they're just down-to-earth Americans living here, and the majority slip under the radar. They don't stand out like sore thumbs like some of those on some of the video channels around. Oh, Elvin, hello, welcome. I knew you'd come sooner or later. CDG, I told you he'd be there. They have a lot of bashers, those expat bloggers, they do. I heard that the other day that, hello, Dennis is doing a live cam. Dennis Adams, he's doing a live cam. He's looking outside his house and it's a live cam. I hope you're working out at the gym, Elvin, like I've seen you doing before with those little roll-on things to roll and get your muscles going. Elvin is present now, haha, he sure is. If you were in your 20s and 30s, would you save money, get a mortgage in the UK, or use your money to travel to the Philippines? Ooh, that's a big one. I would come here for a holiday if I was in my 20s, just to see what it was like. And if I'm 20 to 30, I'd seriously look at maybe finding myself a Filipino lady, because they're very pretty. At that age, English girls look just as good. It's just that when they get a bit older, they look a bit like your mortgage. Pretty hard to bear. And having a mortgage in the UK, like anywhere in the world, is not something I would look forward to at this point in life. Fortunately, all my kids have got their own mortgages and most of them are paid off. But as far as giving all that up and saving, I would save to have a holiday here, yes. Come and have a look at the place. Get a feel of the place, And when I say a holiday, you have to stay at least a month and maybe a rough kind of a holiday. And if you're 20 to 30, you can afford to do that. There's no reason you have to stay in a hotel. You can, as we would have said, bum it around. And you'll soon find somewhere to stay. Somebody will let you stay there, for sure. And it will be good fun when you do. And you'll get to feel the real Philippines. John, you got a notification. You got a notification. Oh, right, meaning maybe you've sent me one. That's all right, no problem. I'll check that later. Need to end live now, John. Hi, Alvin. TV John, your live stream has been flagging. Oh, hope not. Notification. Right. No, you mean it's not doing very well? All right. YouTube sent you. Did they? Right, okay. It's been flagged. What's it been flagged to do? YouTube sent you flagged. It's a fake account. Which one's a fake account? No, I don't know what you mean. Nobody's said anything on this channel here, so I don't know what they're doing. I'll check it later anyway. The one called notification. I don't know which notification they're talking about. I was 20 again. Tony from the Wirral. Anthony Bagley. Keelan. One called notification. Flagged? Okay. I don't recall notification. That's all right. I'll soon find that out. One called notification. I don't recall anything being called notification. Maybe you got the wrong channel. Scroll up and you'll see it. Right. Scroll up. D, notification, flagging. John, you got a notification. Well, it's nothing. Message deleted by Ian in Philippines. View deleted message. I'm having a look. Let me have a look down there. I'll go right back to the beginning and see whether welcome there. Sep. There's nothing saying there. The only thing that I could think of is maybe when Ian posted my check your phone, I sent you a photo. Okay. What's it about, Ian? This is painful. Okay, Keelan. I'm sorry, it's painful. And you can get only time travel if you're, what's it? We rather have the time machine, money machine. You cannot use the time machine to make money, and you can only do it right. Okay, check your phone, I'll send you a photo. Okay. Anyway, we're almost on the 1 hour point, and that's when I usually call it a quits. So we'll probably head that way very quickly. It's gone now. I would move on with it. Okay, that's all right. Maybe the notification was about, oh, it's a troll. Thank you, Ian. I thought it might be something like that, because I've never heard of anything like that before on any of the lights or anyway. My birthday is coming up next month. You and Ian are welcome to attend. Whereabouts are you, Elvin? Because every day, my dear friend Elvin, and I call him our dear friend Elvin, he never misses a trick. He's always doing it. I have one ball. Tiso. Well, that's interesting. I only have one ball too. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. Papanga, Florida Blanca. Oh, Papanga, that's not very far away from either Ian and I. Florida Balang. Yes, I've heard of that area. Not that far away. We're nuts. We're nuts. Oh, this is getting a bit ridiculous, but anyway, it's now 9 o'clock, time to rock, and it's time to say farewell. So guys, thanks for everybody joining this evening. It's been a real pleasure having you here, and we'll do this again soon. When I say soon, in the next few days, we'll probably do another one, but in the meantime, don't forget you can still go and subscribe to my other channel, and we'll be able to do a live on that one too eventually. But I think I have to get 1,000 subscribers before I'm eligible to get, no, hang on, is it 1,000? No, anyway, I think it has to be a certain number of watch hours. So I'll send you that email, GJ says. That's all right. Take care. Thank you very much. And I wish everybody a very nice, what's left of the evening. Take care. And if it's the start of a morning, you need 50 subs, right? Well, that won't be any trouble. Come on, Ian. You can be the next one. I know you won't watch it, but that's okay. Bye, Johnny. Bye, Sep. Thank you you are my very first, Sep. So it was very good to have you here. So catch you later. Bye, Alvin. Bye to everybody else. Bye.